I'm not sure I believe in labels, but I do believe in being part of a tradition. And so some people are part of a libertarian tradition, some people are part of a liberal tradition that goes back to Franklin Roosevelt. I'm part of what I guess you would call a Whig tradition that goes back to the American Whig Party and Alexander Hamilton. I think if you don't have a tradition, then you're sort of guessing. You're just all over the place. You got to know what your basic philosophy is and your basic approach, even if you change it from case to case. So I'm not in favor of being a free-floating independent. I think be part of a tradition, give yourself that label, and you don't have to be on iron rails about it, but you got to have a set of guiding principles to give you some internal consistency. Going to the White House is fun. I do that maybe once a month with the president, with a group of columnists. Well, the first bit of advice I'd say is after 10 p.m., put away the iPad. Because I think between 10 and midnight, he's up with his iPad, reading all these bloggers and getting angry at how they're getting him wrong and stuff like that. And I'd say just put away the iPad. Don't worry about it. That would be one bit of advice. The second one is you deal with the country you got. And he's got a country with a Tea Party, Republican Party that probably doesn't want to work with you, at least part of it. So figure out how you're going to isolate those 42 House members, peel off the other Republicans you can get, and just trying to peel them off all the time. And he hasn't really developed that kind of strategy. And if you don't have that, you don't have a governing majority. So instead of just railing against the country, why is it so stupid? Deal with the country you got, try to build a governing majority. So politicians are always, they have an ego problem because every meeting is about themselves. Every campaign is about themselves. When they vote, they're really putting their whole souls on the line for the country to reject. So they have an ego problem. I would say the thing that's changed most is the level of insecurity. They are extremely insecure, even though in Congress very few of them actually lose. They win re-election at amazing rates, but they're terrified of a primary challenge. They're terrified of these weird forces out of their control like the Tea Party. So they're afraid. And so I'd say insecurity levels are rising. Oh, that's a good question. So there's the good and the bad. So the good is hardworking, very responsible, very community-oriented. The bad is maybe, if I want to put it harshly, a little too pleased with oneself. And so a statistic I quote all the time is that in 1950, high school students were asked, are you a very important person? In 1950, 12% said, yes, I'm very important. And the same question was asked in 2005, and 80% said they're very important. And so there's this thing called narcissism test where the psychologist asks people, does this statement apply to you? Somebody should write a biography about me. I'm really extraordinary. And the median narcissism score has gone up 30% in the last 20 years. Well, I always tell students that the most important decision you're going to make in your life is who to marry. So every class you should take should be about how to choose a marriage partner. Okay. You should read the novels about marriage, the neuroscience of marriage, the sociology of marriage. That's what you should think about. A marriage is a 50-year conversation. Can you see yourself talking to this person for 50 years? I think Yale is the most argumentative student culture that I'm in. So people as students are much more, they're willing to take you on and argue. Other schools of similar quality, the students are a little more polite. But there's a good mixture here of worldliness and intellectual seriousness. So Yale is, I tell this to everybody, Yale is my favorite place. Why did she scamp herself up? I'm disturbed. She was so nice. Now she's just scampy. Why?